Those of you who were here yesterday heard me share the findings of a report, and clearly whatever changes is happening in terms of women's business leadership in Europe and maybe in other countries going forward that have adopted the same measures is due to quotas. So I wanted to hear from each one of you what your thoughts are about quotas in general. So I'm starting with you.
I think that quotas is a great instrument. And in certain circumstances, I think that could help a lot. And we will see how in Europe, and Germany is a great example that you mentioned before, in which one from the parliaments, from the board seats and whatever, is a clear guidance how to do that in the North Europe, also in our country as well. And then I think that helps a lot. Then I think that we need to differentiate two things. We don't have to differentiate the goal, the ambition, with the tools that we need to use in every single moment. Okay? Then I think to use the quotes as something that solves all of the problems in the world is not true and could become a problem for us. I think that we have to make sure that we take the right decisions, that we nominate the people that get the proper profile, the proper capabilities, and the proper support that allow her to succeed. If not, sometimes, unfortunately, just because of the quotas, has been nominated people that later on is finger pointed, that don't have the profile, that seem to be pretty well, and later on is dismissed. That I think that depending on the circumstances, I think that could be a useful mechanism. But also we have to, I not agree that in every single environment, in every single company, we have to impose that. Because it's not the same, one company, a small company with 50 employees, in which one their resources, they are very, very limited, the big corporations, in which one they have resources, even they have the possibility to have one DNA CEO. But this is not ahead, and this is not the case. Then I think to put purely, that you can impose these quotas, I think is not the right solution. For me, the right solution that we are discussing today is make sure that we make the right appointments. That we are discussing when we define CVs, we do it in a proper way. That we scanning the whole market potential, and the market potential more than 50% is female, and not just in accounting. In my experience, in a lot of areas, perhaps in engineering less, is growing. But of course, it's not 50%. But I can tell you, in the healthcare environment, it's more than 65%. Okay? Then that means that the proportion of ladies, they are very well, with a very good high level of education. Also, in my MBA, I realized that the best performers, not by chance, they were ladies, because as you said, you put all effort to work harder in order to succeed and to be in the top list. Then I think that quotas is one tool, but is not a solution.
Okay. Beata.
Well, I would like to say that I hate quotas or parities, but I love the results that they could bring. Let me show you one small example. In Poland, let me refer again to Poland. In Poland, 6 years ago, I mentioned about transformation that happened 26 years ago. And when we are approaching to the 20th anniversary, there were so many events being prepared, and we realized that only men are going to, show or celebrate that this is their achievements, that we achieved freedom, democracy in the country, etc. Where are women? So women at that time decided to gather together and organize a Congress of Women. We thought about conference. It was 7 years ago. We thought about conference. Within 2.5 months, we organized a conference that gathered 3,500 women in one room, and then it started. Today, the Congress of Women is the biggest civic movement in Poland. Last year, Irene was participating, but last year we gathered close to 10,000 women for 1.5-day event from all all over Poland. They come and we discuss not the, you know, women's problems, issues. We discuss global issues because, you know, we also have the right to talk about that. Of course, we invite men as well. But what I wanted to say, one of the goals or results after the first Congress of Women was to propose to the Parliament the law that would introduce parity for women who wanted to go to the political environment, for women to promote women to be more present in the Parliament. And so we proposed the draft law offering quota, actually offering parity, but then we finished at quotas, that women would have the 35% on the lists.
Party lists.
Party lists. So the party has to offer 35% for women. Then people will decide for whom to vote, but women have to have chance. You know, and the Parliament approved that approach. Now, after you know, those 5 years, now we see the results. There are more women that win elections, but the more important is that there are more women who are ready to be candidates. Because this is the question. You may introduce parity and or quotas, and those who are against would say, okay, so we will promote those who cannot afford themselves, who cannot prove that they are good, so because of quota you will have women. No, you have, the result of our idea was to motivate women to be better prepared and to give them, to empower them. Because what we women very often we give up too early, and we talked about lack of self-confidence, but we think, okay, this is not for me. Probably I will not have the chance. So now having this quota, women, you even don't imagine how active they became because they know they will have the chance to be on a party list, and then